showcase what we're capable of in this sport. There for a while, there wasn't very many of them in the industry, and I think that now we've arrived, and I take pride in that, and I think it's really cool. Specifically seeing Kyle Busch's kid running the same thing that I grew up running. I think that's really cool. Larson's kid now is running the same thing that I grew up running on the dirt tracks. So hopefully it's a sign that it creates really good, or you're able to build really good driving ability from dirt track racing, and using that as your form to get to the top level of American motorsports.
Tyler Reddick said he thought that this type of racing almost fits into the background that you guys have, because it's all out all the time. Even though these races are longer, that it's go go go, that type of mentality. Is that something that you see, or are there any similarities that you see that have kind of helped with this?
I don't know. I guess I see what he's saying, and I feel like NASCAR Cup racing has changed a lot. But I feel like that change happened even before I came into the series. Whenever I got here in 2020, that mentality of give and take and maybe run underneath the car's capability at the beginning part of the race, it really wasn't around. So, talking to the veterans of the sport, that was definitely a way of the series, and it definitely has gone away from that, where now everyone contests every position all the time, no matter what, and it has become a very aggressive series. So, I think that change happened before I came into the sport, but talking from the veterans, I do know that it was different, back then.
You have in the 5 next gen races at Kansas, you have 3 poles. So clearly, you guys have a ton of the single lap speed. What have you guys kind of been missing in terms of long run and getting to the front in these races?
Yeah, that's a great question. All of the Kansas races for myself have felt very similar, where we qualify well. Even short run stuff, we're pretty strong, but it seems like overall, over the course of the entire run, I'm kind of normally a 5th place guy, maybe a little bit better than that, maybe a little worse. So certainly trying to improve on that, and hopefully I can drive the car a little bit better. I think every time we've left here, we haven't felt like we hit it perfectly, so I think we've left a little bit of car potential on the table, and myself driving, I think I can do a little bit better too. So qualifying, I love qualifying here. It's one of my favorite times of the year, because it's just so high commitment. You run right up next to the wall, and it's almost wide open depending on the weather. So it's I love qualifying the next gen cars on intermediate tracks where they're really fast.
And then heading into the season, it was kind of thought that the round of 16 with the tracks in it was going to be the big wild card round, but we have Talladega next week. We have the reconfigured Charlotte Roval. Do you kind of foresee that this could be just as big a wild card round as the last one?
Yeah, definitely. In normal scheduling, the round of 12 has always been the scary one, and then this year with Watkins Glen and Atlanta, and then the Bristol race, the round of 16 ended up being a little bit nerve-wracking too. So, I thought it was very interesting that we were all of us were really nervous about the round of 16 and a top contender getting kicked out, and then it didn't really happen to be that way, but it's still, the threat is there, and certainly in the round of 12 it's the same way. So this is a very, very important race. The way that the schedule lays out with having Talladega and the Charlotte Road Course, it puts just a ton of pressure on this event at Kansas, because if you don't score points here, your hands are tied whenever you go to Talladega, certainly, and then the Charlotte Road Course, at that point the lay of the land is already formed, and you're either in protect mode or super aggressive mode. So this is a super important race.
And then last week at Bristol, post-race, you had talked about how you enjoyed, at least behind the wheel, you enjoyed the race more than the one in the spring.
I did.
So what has...
I did.
Yes. So
I was laughing because literally from my seat in the race car, I felt like it was an amazing race. And I had no idea that everyone hated it until like a couple hours after that interview. But I go back to the start of stage 3. I literally watched guys run around there 3 wide, and I was mind blown whenever people said it was a terrible race, because I from my seat, I thought it was a great race.
And that was going to be my question. Just, what is your thoughts been just seeing just how much of a just controversy it's been leading about short track racing and everything?
I mean, it just goes back to what the definition of a good race is, and how the race car drivers and fans are never going to agree on what a good race is. And the drivers are always going to push for something different that is good from our seat, and then the fans are going to push for something that's not good from our seat.
Thank you.
How are you?
Steven Stumpf of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.